Welcome to the Sisters on the Hill, the podcast from the Sisters of St. Benedict in Ferdinand. We are one of the largest communities of Benedictine women in the United States. And on this podcast, you'll get an inside look at life at the monastery, our work and ministries, programs, opportunities, and more.
Hello, welcome to the podcast of the Sisters of St. Benedict of Ferdinand, Indiana. Today I have Sister Jane with me, and we're going to be discussing art and how that plays a role in her life. And so, Sister Jane, thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
Could you tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself before we go into talking about art? Like, where did you grow up? When did you enter community?
I grew up in Evansville, Indiana, and I entered when I was 17 out of high school, the old days, the way things were done then. And I've been, assigned various places. Right now I'm home working from here. I'm a psychologist, and a good part of my assignments was working with seminarians and priests and religious.
And how many years have you been? Because this is your Jubilee year, right?
That's right. It's 60 years of profession, which means I would have been here for 2 years before making my first profession.
So I asked you to come on the podcast to talk about one of your hobbies that you have of artwork. So what type of media do you use in your art?
Well, at one point I decided I'm going to stick to watercolor. I had equipment at that point for oil as well, and everybody's got pencils for drawing, and I decided to just go with the one. I'll tell you why I like watercolor. The one thing is it gives you surprises. It does things you didn't plan to do, which is to my advantage, because I never felt that I had the talent that an oil painting can last forever. And I didn't think I would ever be able to excel at that point. And I like the surprises. And I had this illusion that you could do a painting in one day, which was all wrong.
Okay. So how come you can't do a painting in one day?
Well, sometimes you've got to lay in the background and then let it dry. And then you get distracted with something else to do. And then it takes a while to build up the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Some people can do it in one day, and once in a while I'll throw something together, but basically I'll kind of sit with the thing for a while.
So how did you get started with doing artwork?
I always liked art. In grade school, that was the best class, of the week, when you got to do art on Friday afternoon. And I wanted to do it in high school, and they said you have to do college prep, and I got to do a 2-credit course in college. And it's always enjoyable for me. What I do is I paint things that I love, which is mostly landscapes that really strike me, or that somebody else strikes me and I get permission to use their photograph. And it's like I want to just take nature in and eat it up. This is my way of eating it up, is trying to make something like it, to copy it. Or sometimes it turns out differently, and that's okay. I have something new that's creative. So I guess over time I'd get into it and then get out and get into it. And now I have the leisure that I can do it a few times a week on a good week.
So where do you do your artwork at?
We have a room up in the attic, or next to the attic, where there are about 4 of us who have big desks, spread out tables. And mostly we work up there. I've taken some of my art supplies down to the building where I live, and I've been doing it in an extra room there. And people are okay with my painting. Well, people are always okay, but I think they always consider it like something I do extra.
Right. And you can leave stuff out then in that art studio.
Yeah, that's the important piece there. What I do is paint stuff I love to do. It also gives me a balance, the whole thing. My spiritual director says, your prayers, your painting, the process. Really, I'm in a better mood when I have painted. And that's good for the community,
Nice.
for me to be in a better mood. And sometimes when I'm not painting, I feel a little guilty because we all say we should use our talents, express our talents, develop them. And I think this is a gift I received, and I've been neglecting it. But it's not, I sure don't do it out of any feeling that I need to or I'm supposed to. It's more like, how can I get back to it again and enjoy doing it? It really does help my spirit. Some form of contemplation, contemplating on nature.
Right. That kind of leads into my next question when you mentioned the word balance, and St. Benedict calls us to live a life of balance. So how does your art connect with your life as a sister of St. Benedict?
I think that's part of it. I do a better job of everything else when I have this creative outlet. A different part of the brain too. It does help make me a better person. And it's an extension of my appreciating all the gifts God gives us. So, yeah, it's something I need to do to keep myself sane and contributing to the community. The art itself, the gift shop takes it and makes cards out of it, and then I feel kind of worthwhile for my art's worth something, besides just expressing myself. And sometimes I'll sell some, the original. And sometimes I've been able to create with art something that the community can use. Like one of the sister artists that I took a whole week's lesson with some years ago, she said that sister artists, most of their artwork is in the wastebasket after the occasion on which it was needed as the head of a program for some liturgy. You had to have the art for this special occasion, and so there you get commissioned to put it together, and then afterwards it's gone. But that's a very direct kind of service to the community.
I have the pleasure of having one of your pieces in my office at the Louisville house. Mm-hmm. So you had given it to me of the Madonna Lake and the barn and the shelter house.
Oh, yes.
And it because we have had our junior high camp there, and it holds a special place with me and being with the girls that came to camp. And so I keep it up on my wall in my office.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. And I'm always happy when somebody can use it, in that sense. And I think people they don't have to have the best art in the world, but they like things that remind them of something in their life that's important to them. So I try to look around for things that will say to people, oh, yeah, I don't know that cornfield, but I know one like it that I grew up next to, or something like that.
So if someone wanted to start doing art, what would you recommend of how they would start?
Pinterest. Subscribe to Pinterest and choose categories that you're interested in, like watercolor, beginner's watercolor, if they have something like that. And then they'll send you options every day, maybe twice a day, that you can keep delete, what you don't want. But the teachers are all there. And many of the options are for beginners. How to paint a tree, with watercolor for the beginner. And buy good paper. You won't know what watercolor can do, even a poor quality of watercolor, if you don't have good paper, which means 100% rag or 100% cotton. And most of us use 140 pound. So you find out what you can find of that. And then start with the watercolor set that you've got. And then you can work your way at the advice of all these Pinterest teachers, of which there are thousands. But everyone will tell you a different set of paints you should get.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
That the basic paints colors are these, and it'll be different. So, watch several before you go buy the expensive kind.
But it's important to have the good paper, the watercolor paper.
Yeah. Then you can see how it's really going to work even when you're better at it.
Mm-hmm.
And how you can let the watercolor flow on its own. You can even lift watercolor off if you've got a really good paper.
If someone would want to see your art, you kind of mentioned it already, but would want to see or purchase your art, where would they go?
To the monastery gift shop. That's where it is. I did at one point have some in one of the other gift shops in town. And I might again sometime. Right now, it's all at the monastery gift shop, right here on the hill, or near the hill.
Right. And so, I have purchased your cards to use in the vocation office of the monastery. I love your depictions of the monastery.
That's right. People want some scene they can crawl into themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm glad people can use the art then. That's what I do for my leisure, or one of the things I do for my leisure, competing with all the other things you do in community for leisure, hanging out with other people. And it's fulfilling for me. I just have to behave myself and do it.
Yeah. Find that balance, right?
Right. Find that balance and not end up too engrossed in the work.
So thank you for taking the time to talk about your art. I've been ending every podcast with the same questions to the sisters who I've been talking to. And it's just what first comes to your mind. So are you a coffee person or a tea person?
Oh, coffee, all the way.
Do you like reading a mystery novel or a romance?
Probably romance. I haven't read many in many years, but if you get somebody like Jane Austen,
oh yeah,
I reread those over.
Oh my God, a good romance, not a
yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning, so I can get up early enough to pray before we go to office.
Would you rather go to the beach or to the mountains?
Oh, mountains at this point in my life.
Are you a summer person or a winter person?
Summer. I get cold.
And if a woman who's listening in is discerning religious life, what would you tell her?
Oh, what would I tell her? Come and see. Talk to people who are religious. Talk to God about your own desires. What do you really want in life? I wanted something bigger than myself. And I always thought that was kind of an inferior option. It should sound holier. And then just like this last week, I was listening to a podcast on what people want in their lives. And that was one of the phrases. They want something bigger than yourself. I thought, oh, that's spirituality. That's the search, the seeking God thing.
Well, thank you, Sister Jane, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sisters on the Hill. If you're interested in exploring what life as a sister looks like and whether you're being called to that life, reach out to us at vocation@thedome.org. This podcast was recorded at Monastery Immaculate Conception in Ferdinand, Indiana, and was made possible by funds from our philanthropic circle, the Women of the Rule. Follow us on social media at Ferdinand OSB or visit us at thedome.org to learn more. That's THEDOME.org. Thanks again for listening and have a blessed day.